Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. In 2 Chronicles chapter 20, we find Jehoshaphat and Judah in a predicament. They have this huge army that's risen up against them, a powerful army, and this army was threatening to really just overwhelm them and overtake them. And Jehoshaphat takes the situation to the Lord in prayer. And this statement that he makes, I think, summarizes just how bleak the situation was. In verse 12, he says, "For we are powerless before this great multitude who are coming against us, nor do we know what to do, but our eyes are on you." So there in that statement, Jehoshaphat says we don't have either the power nor the knowledge to deal with this situation. We don't have the power. He says we are powerless before this great multitude. We don't have the means. We don't have the resources. We don't have the strength to engage in this battle. And he says, nor do we know what to do. We don't even have a plan. And we don't even know how to deal with this situation at all. There's no strategy that we can think of where we can really overcome this army. And that's when a situation is really bleak, when you have neither the resources nor the knowledge to know how to deal with a situation. Sometimes you might be able to kind of get through a situation if you have the resources and the means to kind of will your way through it, even though you don't really know how you're going to deal with it. And sometimes you can deal with a situation even though you don't have a whole lot of resources, but you can kind of plan and strategize your way through the situation. But here in this situation, they didn't have either one. They didn't have the resources nor the knowledge to deal with it. And so they're bringing it to the Lord. And sometimes we find ourselves in this type of situation. Sometimes we find ourselves in a situation where we just don't know what to do. The situation is too big. It's dealing with things that we have no power over, things out of our control. And we can't either will our way through the situation, nor can we try to strategize our way through the situation. We just are at a loss. We don't know what to do. And so we take that to the Lord in prayer. And Jehaziel's response to Jehoshaphat is both instructive but also very encouraging. He responds to Jehoshaphat by telling him kind of what this army is going to do, how the Lord's going to make a way for victory for them. But he also gives basically two statements that would have been very encouraging to Jehoshaphat and the rest of Judah. For one, he tells him that the battle is the Lord's. This is in verse 15. He says, "For the battle is not yours, but God's." So that's an encouraging word that they needed to hear. But also he tells him in verse 17, do not fear or be dismayed. Tomorrow go out and face them, for the Lord is with you." And so those are the two main encouraging words that he receives. That the battle is not yours, it's God's, and that the Lord is with you. And those are two things that can help us in those distressing situations that are just too much for us. They're overwhelming. We can understand that when we take the situation to the Lord, it now becomes the Lord's battle. Our battles become his battles when we submit them to him. When we cast our anxieties upon him, knowing that he cares for us, then the Lord takes it up as his own personal problem. And he's going to work in the situation for us. And so we can go to the Lord in confidence and knowing that, yeah, we may be overwhelmed, but God's not overwhelmed. We may lack the power or the knowledge to overcome the situation, but God doesn't lack either one of those. Being omnipotent and also omniscient, he's able to deal with all different situations in any situation we encounter. And so we can say, well, I can't handle the battle, but if I hand it over to the Lord and it becomes his battle, he can bring about the deliverance. And then that the Lord is with you. To know that God is with us in the situation. That we don't have to face it alone. We don't have to go through it. We don't have to feel through the darkness all by ourselves. But the Lord is there to hold our hand and to guide us and to help us and to strengthen us and to get us through the other side. And that can be encouraging when we feel overwhelmed. So if we ever find ourselves in a situation like Jehoshaphat and Judah here, when the situation is so big that we have neither the resources nor the knowledge to deal with it, let's take it to the Lord and trust that When we take our battles, when we take our distresses, our hardships to him, he takes those on. And then these problems become his problem, and he's the one who can help bring about the solution to the problem. And then let's also be comforted in knowing that the Lord is with us. Whether we're in good times or bad times, the Lord is always with us, and he's there to strengthen us and to guide us and to help us through the distressing times, through the darkness, and to help us through those things. So here's some things we can reflect on and think about as we do a reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.